Welcome to my sci-fi review. A dark dystopia future where literature is dead and ignorance reigns supreme. What are we talking about?
Unaware of what year it was, Joe wandered the streets desperate for help. But the English language had deteriorated into a hybrid of hillbilly, valley girl, inner city slang, and various grunts.
What? No, that does explain the tourist industry though, but no, we're talking about this movie. Oh, that one.
An Enterprise Vineyard production. Oskar Werner, Julie Christie in Fahrenheit 451. Co-starring Cyril Cusack, Anton Diffring, Jeremy Spencer, B. Duffel, Alex Scott.
That's interesting. A little bit about the background. Obviously, the book was written by Ray Bradury and became a movie. I actually have a comic book also based on the same novel. Now, Ray Bradury is known as a sci-fi author, but the fact is, as most great authors, he isn't limited to one little topic or genre. He's all over the place. Now, it is a dystopia sci-fi novel, and there are differences between the novel and the film, which I'll get into later. It doesn't take away from the film. I'm not comparing, this is not comparing bad or good. It's just there are changes, and there are reasons for them which are interesting. Now, let's get on to our feature presentation. Ooh, a little wider too. Anyway, heroes come in two sets, multiple sets, but the big ones are usually, they're coming from outside the system, like Luke Skywalker, who has no idea what's happening before the droids show up. Or they come from within inside the system, like Smith from 1984. In other words, they have no clue what's going on, or they know everything and they kind of churn. The second type is the hero of this film. Let's take a look.
In slow motion. Watch it carefully again, cousins.
I'm going to be promoted.
Now, as he starts to advance his
Are you
left
listening,
foot,
Linda?
you will notice her position.
Then there's the female main character, who in this story actually also, at least in the movie, becomes also the female heroine, the hero. And let's take a look. An interesting point, the actress who plays her also plays the hero's wife. She's playing two characters at once.
I'd like to ask you something else, only I don't really dare.
Go ahead.
Is it true that a long time ago, firemen used to put out fires and not burn books?
Now, there's more than one villain to this piece. It's a dystopia, so usually why there is one main character you go boo to, the fact is there's not really a lot of what you'd call big evil. This dystopia feels more like a utopia that doesn't know its turn yet, so it's kind of hard to pick anybody. But if we're going to, let's pick the head of the fire department, or at least the chief of this fire department, this person right here. Oh, he also played the Thought Police in the 1984 version of, 1984.
Listen to me, Montag. Once to each fireman, at least once in his career, he just itches to know what these books are all about. He just aches to know, isn't that so? Well, take my word for it, Montag. There's nothing there. The books have nothing to say.
Now, the society in the movie burns books. There's no reading allowed of any literature. There doesn't seem to be even manuals. Most information is passed on orally or visually. They do show comic books, but they're obviously picture books. Now, this gives people, at least in the movie, a lot of leisure time. We see them watching a lot of television out in the parks, and a couple times it suggests that there's actually a lot of drug use, which, look at this scene right here. Now in the book, where a lot of this energy is used towards, well, violence, the movie suggests this energy is not being used at all. It's just whittling away, draining away. They're gossiping, they're watching TV, they're going to the park, they're reading comic books, taking drugs. And both the book and the movie do suggest a high level of suicide. Let's brighten things up with intermission.
It's refreshment time, and our refreshment stand is loaded with good things to eat. There's crispy, crunchy popcorn, and hot, delicious buttered popcorn, lots of candy, and frosty, refreshing cold drinks. Why not treat yourself at the refreshment center now?
Television. Television. It's been around for a long time. In fact, it was developed during the 20s and 30s. Color television around the 30s, actually. But it wasn't really used en masse till after World War II. Even during World War II, the English actually did have a broadcasting system, which was turned off. They feared the Germans would use it to target in with their missiles. Now, there's many fears about it. George Orwell, for one, feared that it'd be used in a two-way situation, that control information as well as watch you. But other people thought it would bring, knowledge to the masses, like PBS. They pictured everything like PBS. They didn't see the MTV or C-SPAN, which is actually more boring than anything else, or the History Channel, though the International History Channel is much better. So, there's been many movies, books written about the future of television, how it affects things. And in the end, I think television's like, steak. Well-balanced diet, you're going to have a little protein, you're going to have a little steak. But you shouldn't eat steak, all the time. Still, television brought us many, many good things like, Schoolhouse Rock. There's food in here. And we all know the next segment, which say it all together.
Fun Film Facts.
There's a reason I've just shown you one of the first Bond girls, who is also, by the way, a Hammer girl. When the director is going to make this film, he wanted to make a futuristic sci-fi film, just like the book, with all sorts of gadgets. But then, the first James Bond movie came out, Dr. No, full of gadgets. And the French director realized that if he made this movie for 51 with lots of gadgets, they'd be calling it a James Bond movie. So he went the other way, using old-fashioned phones. Going back to old-fashioned cars, toasters, everything you can think of, including this.
Look, I bought you a present to celebrate your... Oh, I forget what. Never mind. Do you like it? Isn't it lovely? You like it?
Yes, I do. Very much.
Isn't it smart? It's the very latest thing. Everyone's using them now. Can I throw your old one away?
As you can see, this society is just not stagnant. It's going backwards slightly. And it would have been seen in 1966. So many of the people even then would be looking at going, what's going on? So of course today, when most of us don't even have television aerials on our house, it looks even more outdated. But the whole problem with that is that it makes this next scene the only flaw I can really find that I would blame on the director. Watch this. Where to start? 1. Would they be able to make such things if they didn't have manuals or any records? to be able to attain those hovercraft? 2, why would they have such a weird bunched up search pattern? And 3, if they were searching the river, which is why they're all bunched up, wouldn't they notice the boat? It's like a bump in the road. It might not be really a flaw, but in my opinion, it does kind of like, whoa, wait, oh, I'm watching a movie kind of thing. Which is why it gets this rating.
I give this an 8 out of 10.
It's a pretty good story. It does have a few flaws. Outside the bump in the road, the flaw I pointed out, the main hero, the main male character, is somewhat bland in his acting. Now, it could be that's part of his character. You know, he's part of a bureaucracy. He has to be emotional, so he doesn't want to show the emotions. But it does take away a little bit from the story. It's kind of hard to tell when he's panicking or when he's in love or anything like that. Most of the story, though, holds up, even with the changes. I don't want to compare it to the book. It's unfair, but the movie is different from the book. And if you're a fan of the book, that means you might give it a lower rating. You might suffer from that, quote, it's not like the book, end of quote, illness. You know, if you read a book and then you watch the movie and you say it's not like the book, so it sucks, you might not want to watch this. Also, it's not action-packed. You know, it doesn't have explosions. It's very much a thinking movie, and sometimes you want popcorn, you know. Now, there are other things you could see if you like Ray Bradury. There is also a comic book version of the same story. Follows the book very faithfully. But I would suggest watching this movie, even if you're kind of concerned about the fact that it doesn't follow the book very much. Now, both the book and the movie do have a slightly interesting ending in that it really kind of just drifts off. They're not strong endings, so if you haven't read the book, the end of the movie might be a little disappointing. Not much you can do about that. Now, there is a lot of humor, like I said, and I kind of like some parts of it are humorous to me, even though I'm not sure they are to other people, like this scene right here.
See, it's no good, Montag. We've all got to be alike. The only way to be happy is for everyone to be made equal. So, we must burn the books, Montag. All the books.
Hey guys, well that's the end of this review. I'm about to show you some of the fan service. Before I go, I will point out that I do read the comments, how few there are, on my YouTube reviews. And one person did ask me to review the BBC television version of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which will be my next review. I not only have the DVD and have watched the movie on the big screen, but I also have read the scripts and listened to them. I've read all the books. I have actually read a book about the science of the Hitchhiker's Guide, and a guide on the guide. And having a huge sci-fi background, I hope to be able to get some justice in a review. It is a lot, well, it is a humorous sci-fi. It's a parody of sci-fi, so it might be a little difficult. I'm not sure if I'll use the same format as the other reviews, but we'll see. Here's your fan service. Enjoy.
Hey!